The year is 2025, and if you've been paying attention, something feels eerily familiar. The markets are booming, the headlines are glowing, and everyone believes the good times will never end. But history has a strange way of whispering before it screams. Because the last time humanity felt this confident, the world was standing on the edge of the greatest economic collapse in modern history. Welcome to History of Finance, where the past reveals the truth about the future. What you're about to hear might change the way you see the global economy forever. 100 years ago, America was celebrating the Roaring '20s, a decade of wild optimism, endless credit, and unstoppable growth. Everyone was investing. From shoeshine boys to millionaires, people were buying stocks like they could only go one way up. It was the age of illusions, a time when debt felt like wealth, and risk felt like opportunity. Sound familiar? Because here we are again. The world is once again living inside a financial fantasy. Technology stocks are breaking records, cryptocurrencies are treated like gold, and governments are printing money faster than ever before. The crowd believes we've entered a new era, one where the old rules no longer apply. But history whispers the same warning it did in 1928, when everyone believes the party will never end. That's when the floor disappears. Back then, newspapers called it the new economy. Politicians said boom and bust cycles were gone forever. The Federal Reserve kept interest rates low to fuel more growth. When anyone dared to question it, they were laughed off as pessimists who didn't understand progress. Sound familiar again? Because today, the same playbook is unfolding. Central banks have kept money cheap for more than a decade. Venture capitalists throw billions at companies that have never made a profit. People borrow to buy assets they can barely afford. The same blind faith, the same overconfidence, the same illusion of control. But here's the part that should make you uneasy. In the late 1920s, the top 1% controlled about 23% of all wealth. Today, they control over 32%. The gap between rich and poor isn't just wide, it's historic. And when wealth concentrates at the top, the foundation of the economy begins to rot. Because the rich can only buy so much. Real growth depends on the middle class, and right now, that middle class is drowning in debt. A century ago, people bought stocks on margin, putting down just 10% and borrowing the rest. When prices fell, they were forced to sell, collapsing the market. Today, the leverage is hidden, but it's everywhere. Corporations are buried in debt. Governments are buried in debt. Consumers are buried in debt. Our entire system survives on the belief that tomorrow will always be better than today. But what happens when tomorrow doesn't come? Politicians promise that government spending will fix everything. Economists talk about soft landings. Tech billionaires say their innovations will save the world. But the truth is, we've built a global economy that depends entirely on confidence, and confidence is fragile. The danger today isn't just a financial crash. It's the collapse of a system that most people don't even understand. Because unlike in 1929, when Americans could grow food and fix machines, today we depend on digital payments, fragile supply chains, and complex networks that can crumble overnight. That's why the smartest people in the world, the billionaires, the central bankers, the insiders, are quietly preparing. They're buying farmland, hoarding gold, and building safe havens far from the chaos they know is coming. Meanwhile, the public is being told that everything is fine, that inflation is under control, that growth is strong, that the experts have it handled. But the experts are lying. The same tools they used to fight the last crisis, money printing bailouts, zero interest rates, didn't fix the problem. They just made it worse. Every time we avoided a reckoning, we built an even bigger bubble. And now that bubble is everywhere in housing, in stocks, in bonds, in crypto. When the crash of 1929 finally came, it didn't happen overnight. It began with whispers. A few bad trading days. A few small bankruptcies. Then panic. Between September and November, the market lost nearly half its value. Fortunes vanished in weeks. Banks collapsed. And the confidence that had built an entire decade of prosperity disappeared almost instantly. The difference now is speed. In 1929, information traveled by newspaper. Today, it moves in milliseconds. Algorithms can trigger mass sell-offs faster than any human can react. A crisis that once took months to unfold could now happen in a single day. And while the 1920s bubble was mostly in stocks, our modern bubble infects everything. Real estate that no one can afford. Tech companies valued higher than entire industries. Digital coins worth billions based on memes. All connected, all dependent on cheap credit and blind optimism. When one domino falls, they all do. Governments will panic, central banks will print, and experts will appear on TV saying it's under control. But just like before, it won't be. The system isn't built to bend, it's built to break, and beneath the surface, it already is. Commercial real estate is collapsing as office towers stand empty. Regional banks are hiding massive losses. Pension funds are gambling just to stay solvent. And everyday families are borrowing more than ever just to survive. The cracks are spreading, and soon the illusion will shatter. What comes next won't just be an economic collapse. It will be a crisis of trust. Because when people lose faith in money, they lose faith in the system that governs it. That's when societies start to fracture. That's when history stops repeating and starts resetting. Yet the people in power still refuse to see it. They deny, they deflect, they double down. They tell you everything is fine, even as they quietly prepare for what's coming. But history doesn't care about denial. It doesn't care about politics. It only cares about patterns, and those patterns are repeating faster than ever before. Every sign that appeared before the crash of 1929 has reappeared in 2025. The arrogance, the overconfidence, the idea that this time is different. But it never is. The markets are overextended. The debt is unsustainable. The trust is fading. The stage is set. The same story that began in 1928 is being rewritten right now. Only this time, it's global. When the curtain falls, most people will be shocked. They'll say no one could have seen it coming, but history did. It's been warning us all along. The echoes are louder now. The patterns are clear. Same human greed, the same blindness, the same illusion of control. The crash isn't coming, it's already here, waiting for the moment the illusion finally breaks. Those who understand history have a chance to prepare. Those who ignore it will learn the lesson the hard way. History doesn't repeat itself, but if you ignore it, it will destroy you just the same. The echoes are getting louder. The signs are flashing red. The only question left is, will you recognize the pattern before it's too late? If this opened your eyes, hit subscribe, because the truth about our financial future is hidden in plain sight. In here, on History of Finance, we uncover it one story at a time. History has already spoken. The question is, are you listening?